Hey, 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 it's Chaos Queen here, and you're listening to the Geekcast Radio Network.
Hey, it's Mistress Carrie, and you are listening to Studio 2009.
That's my specialty, you know. Homicide.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is a trigger warning. In this episode of Studio 2009 here on the Geekcast Radio Network, there are suicidal discussions. We just wanted to let you know ahead of time in case that affects you. So now, on with the show.
Yeah, Columbo. Yeah, hi. Yeah. Well, I'm not the doctor. No, it's not serious. Yes. I'll be there as soon as I can. Right. Bye.
That's all there is to it. He'll need a booster shot in about a week.
He didn't seem to mind it.
Oh, they hardly feel it. But he will need the booster shot in about a week. Say, how old is he?
Kind of hard to say. You see, I just picked him up at the pound. His time was up, if you know what I mean. I say he's pretty full grown. Kind of cute, isn't he? He'll be all right. Okay, Doc. Thanks for staying open. Got these peculiar hours, you know.
No sweat. My wife doesn't like music. She watches murder mysteries, so whenever the concert's on, I work late.
Right. There's not going to be any after effects, is there?
Oh, no, nothing.
Okay. I haven't named this guy yet. You don't have any ideas?
There's a name I've always heard, and I've never seen a dog that had it. Fido.
Fido.
Yeah, Fido, the Romans used to say. It's as old as that. It means, I am faithful.
Yeah.
Well, roughly. Fine.
There is nothing wrong with your podcast player, or maybe there is. Do not attempt to adjust the volume. Hello and welcome back into our studio. You're now inside Studio 2009, only on the Geekcast or Radio Network. I'm, of course, TFG1Mike, and joining me once again, as always, in the new... Did we do anything in the new year so far? I don't think we did. I don't think so. Yeah,
we might have... Did we do Attack the Block? New year?
Yeah. Well, we recorded that last year, and I released it this year.
Okay.
We technically recorded that last year. But yeah, that's out. Everything's out, hopefully, by now.
Yeah, I don't have it in the calendar. I don't have anything else on here, so.
Yeah. So there's none other than that good old Detective David Draper. We are returning to Columbo over the next 9 days here in February 2025. So February 1st to February 9th. Oh, boy. Or February...
Why do you keep doing that to yourself?
What?
You're like, oh, we're going to do it every day. And then all of a sudden I get this, it's such a nightmare to crank these out every day. And it's like, don't do that.
Well, it's a nightmare to crank out 31 of them. It's not a nightmare to crank out 8.
Okay.
8's fine.
Okay.
Because hopefully by now I'll be
do that now.
Well adjusted and everything else. But we are back with more Columbo. How the heck have you been, sir?
I've been all right. I hate winter. And so this winter, like last winter was really mild, but I wasn't well. Mm-hmm. So like I kind of missed it. And this winter I'm much better, and it's been awful. So that's great. And like apparently you can't even escape it because if you go somewhere warm, it burns down on you. So it's like great. The winter sucks.
Oh, damn.
What?
Well,
isn't that why people go to like Florida and California to get away from winter?
Yeah, but burn down, dude.
Yeah, well, I mean, California is burning down. Like literally half the locations we'll probably talk about today are now piles of rubble.
Permanently gone. Absolutely. Unfortunately.
I'm honestly not even kind of making a joke about it.
No. Everyone's face. Yeah. Oh man, so many people. It's like every time somebody makes a Facebook post, oh, I have been marked safe from the California fire. Oh, good, you're safe. Nice to know. Back in my day, when I was a kid, we used phone trees and letters and everything else. And back in Dave's day, they used cave paintings.
No, we had smoke signals. We were advanced. We were civilized people.
Yes, that too. So we're back, folks, with the good old Columbo Mumbo Jumbo, and that's a Dave Draper original.
No, it is not. It is not. Back when they used that on the bumpers on A&E.
Oh, did they?
Yes, they would go. And now back to more Columbo Mumbo Jumbo on A&E.
Nice.
So I did want to like correct that because I saw you posted that on Facebook. And I'm like, I did not make that up. Whoever wrote those things for A&E made that up.
These are the Columbo Files here inside the podcast. As always, we are watching them in order. Main source for online viewing is Tubi TV. Actually, I reached out to them about this episode and the next episode because on Tubi, Etude in Black and the Greenhouse Jungle are flip-flopped. Greenhouse Jungle is first, Etude in Black is second. So I reached out through their customer service through report a problem, blah, 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 blah. They're like, oh, okay. Did this, that, and the other thing. Like 3 emails later, we are sending this to the second level tier of customer support. I'm like, okay, cool. And I haven't heard anything since. I'm like, how hard would it be for you guys just to, retitle, just change the numbers and just flip them so the other one shows in the other place where it's supposed to be?
I mean, like, I'm not a computer guy, but I have a little bit of experience, and sometimes stuff like that can actually be much harder than you think.
Yeah, no, I know. I understand.
No, because generally I'm an ignorant consumer guy who's like, how hard can it be? Mm-hmm. Just make the thing that I want and send it to my doorstep. How hard can it be? Mm-hmm. But like, I mean, it could be harder than you, and also how many people are affected on a daily basis because 2 episodes of Columbo are slightly out of order. I mean, I realize that it is a national tragedy, but we've already mentioned the fires in California. There's a war in Israel. There's a war in Ukraine. I mean, now I'm not saying it's not up there. Like I'm just saying, some people believe the political shift in the United States is the end of the world. I know these people. It's very hard to talk them down off a ledge. But there are 2 episodes. Look, I'm not making fun of you. There are 2 episodes of Columbo that are slightly out of order on Tubi, and it's a tragedy. It's a heartbreaking. I mean, I'm surprised we're even allowed to say that and not have to use euphemisms.
What, Tubi?
No, the flippity floop.
Oh,
the 2 episodes are flippity flooped.
Oh, yeah, flip flop.
You can't say out of order because then someone will be triggered by it. Oh. Okay, I'm being a little bitch about people.
Yeah. Well, so my thing is, like, if I start something, anything, it doesn't matter what it is, but specifically television show, cartoon, whatever, and you tell me it starts with this certain episode, I expect that. That's my expectation. If you say that this is this, and some service has it out of order, I was respectful. I just said, "Hey, I am not suggesting you were rude in any way. I'm just saying, in the grand scheme. I know, in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't matter. But we were talking about this either at the end of the last Columbo episode we did, or off air. We were talking about this, and when I was preparing when I was going to watch these, I was like, "Hey, wait, they have a contact us if there's a problem button here. I should do this just to say, hey, in case you guys didn't know, the actual order of the episodes is flip-flopped and whatever else." Anyway, this episode, this cast is stacked.
Yeah, like, I believe I mentioned either on air or off air that John Cassavetes is a good friend of Peter Falk's. Mm-hmm. So it doesn't make a lot of it's not a big surprise that he would end up being in an episode of Columbo.
Right. But yeah, you got John Cassavetes, you got
Blythe Danner, right?
Blythe Danner and Myrna Loy guest star as Benedict's wife and her mother. So Myrna Loy specifically, she is Mrs. Nick Charles from the Thin Man movies, and that's the only other thing I have ever seen her in. That up until this episode, that was the only thing I'd ever seen Myrna Loy in. And I know she had other movies and did other things, but the 7, 8, 9, however many Thin Man movies there are, 10, however many there are, I forget how many there are off the top of my head. Like, I know her as Nora Charles from Nick and Nora.
Ironically, you're one up. It's a name that I recognize, but there are in fact things that are before my time. So there are like celebrities, and there was a whole history of Hollywood before I started getting involved. And so, like, I know the name,
Yeah.
but I didn't make the connection to the Thin Man role. I mean, that's to someone who's even older than I am. That's impressive. You know what I mean? Because I mean, well, the Thin Man was a big deal at the time.
Yes, absolutely. I think they did. I think it was 1934 to 47. I believe is how long the movies lasted.
And of course, ironically, you know what the big hook of those movies was? The dog, Astra.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Asta. Okay, we'll see how I screwed it up.
It's okay. Yeah, no, Asta, Mrs. Asta, and all the baby asses that they're probably going to have at some point. No, we'll be here all day, and we can probably revisit Thin Man at some point. Oh, crap! If it did start in 34, last year was its anniversary. Holy crap!
You missed it.
No, we can still do it. It's not that big of a deal. 90 years ago, those movies came out. Oh my God!
As I said before, even my time.
But yeah, so you got her in here as the
mother-in-law and the owner of the orchestra.
And then Blythe Danner, and then what I didn't know about this, which is crazy to me, this episode was directed by Coach from Cheers. That's what I mean about this cast being
really
Nicholas Colasanto. Really?
Yeah. I didn't. I think I saw the name, but it didn't click in my head.
Well, it didn't click in my head either until I read the Wikipedia article. I'm like, oh my God, that's amazing. All right, getting into the plot, folks. Alex Benedict, played by John Cassavetes, the married conductor of the Los Angeles Philharmonic Orchestra, murders his mistress, Jennifer Wells, after she insists on going public with their affair and tries to make it look like a suicide. Columbo searches for clues to place Benedict at the murder scene. Now, this episode feels so much different.
It does.
Any of the other episodes we've covered to this point. It does, like, you don't see the murder happen within like the first 5 minutes. He's going all over his house. He's getting all this stuff ready to go. Like, I don't know. Did I write it in my notes? How long?
Well, and the next episode we're going to talk. It might be a second season thing because I noticed. First of all, they start with like previews of.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan either. But like clips of what's going to happen in the episode, and then they the preamble section was a little bit longer than the first season, and it's kind of like that with the second episode too. Like,
yeah,
so we do two at a time, so I can't say for the whole season, but
yeah, I got so confused because normally I'm used to on Tubi going to whichever season it is and just seeing, hey, black screen show comes up and it's the standard. How we opened all of the episodes in season 1. It just opens. I almost really don't like that they have if they split it up a little more, like if there was like there's the transition between the little quote unquote preview thing and the start of the actual episode, it's like non-existent. There's like no transition. It just goes right in. And I'm just like, okay, we need like a half a second of a black screen or a fade out, fade in kind of thing or something. Because
I get you, yeah.
I got all confused. I was like, wait, what the hell show am I watching? I know what show I'm watching, obviously, but like, what in the hell's going on here? Why are they doing this?
Also, because Columbo, well, I think part of it is Columbo doesn't have a proper
intro, outro.
Yeah, because it's the Sunday movie of the week thing. It's that weird. So like it has that before Columbo starts. So because like another show would fade immediately into the credit. Or like I've been watching Space 1999, and what they do is they have that little preview thing in the opening title sequence.
Mm-hmm.
But like it would be that little preview and then the title sequence and then the show. But with Columbo, it goes immediately into the action from the preview.
Yeah, and then the whole opening scene is just super strange to me. And the other thing is, he's wearing a buttoned up jacket at home. Are you kidding me?
Okay.
Like, I understand why you would button the jacket up if you're going out and actually interacting with people.
But he was going out, wasn't he?
He was, but, like, usually you do that, like, when you are about to leave the house, not, like, literally walk out the door is when I would do that, or maybe 5 minutes before. This opening scene took way too long. Like, isn't he sitting down at one point with the jacket buttoned up? And I'm like, really?
It was a thing that apparently you were affected by that I was not. So
yeah.
I don't know.
At first, I thought the bird was going to do him in.
Yeah, it's weird because, like, I've seen all these episodes before. Like, the funny thing is, at this point, I've seen all the episodes before. Again, a long time on A&E. Yeah. So, like, I was like that. I was like, the bird's going to do him in. There were some other things that I remember differently and kind of wrong. Like, there's another episode where the wife is in a wheelchair.
Okay.
So I thought, I was like, why is she walking around? She's in a wheelchair. And I think that's a different episode.
Yeah.
I'm getting them mixed up in my head. And then, yeah. And I forgot how the whole thing got resolved. I mean, I figured it out pretty quick how the whole thing got resolved.
Yeah.
But, like, which is another thing that's weird. Like this one was really obvious.
Yes.
How he was going to get caught up.
Yeah.
It's just how, like, I guess it was just how specifically Columbo was going to catch that was a little different. What happens is during the attack, he's got a little boutonniere of a little carnation.
Yeah, it's a carnation flower. Yeah.
Carnation flower that his wife grows so that he wears them in his boutonniere when he conducts at a symphony, and it falls out. And so when he's on TV conducting the orchestra, he's not wearing the boutonniere.
Yeah.
And then he comes back to the place because he realizes it's missing.
Yeah.
It's kind of a cool shot where like he's conducting the orchestra and you see him look down in a freeze frame. And he comes back and Columbo kind of catches that. That he finds the boutonniere and picks it up. And that's, and you're like, oh, that's how he's going to get him.
Yep.
Like you said, if this episode felt different. Did you think Columbo, the character, felt a little different?
Yeah,
There's a scene where he confronts the wife, and like the thing about Columbo is even some of the people that he's going after, he's almost never malicious to.
Right.
There was almost something spiteful about the interaction he had with the wife.
No, I was talking to your husband about Miss Wells. I want to talk to everyone that knew her intimately.
Oh, I beg your pardon. I really don't think that Alex knew her better than any of the other artists that he works with.
Oh, no, I meant no offense, ma'am. No, I only meant working together at such long hours, two people, and we have this new development in the case. I thought maybe you'd be able to help me.
Well, I don't know what you mean. What case?
Oh, maybe you haven't heard. We think Miss Wells was murdered.
Murdered?
Yeah, we think so. Yeah. I just learned that she was having an affair with somebody.
Oh, well, I'm really not interested in all of that, Lieutenant. And I certainly don't think that Alex can be of any help to you.
Why do you say that, ma'am?
Well, because Alex doesn't mix in with the private lives of the artists.
You know that for certain?
Well, of course I do. What are you implying?
No, I'm not implying anything. No, I just didn't know how you knew what he didn't do or what he...
I'm really not interested in talking about this any further. Will you excuse me, please? Lieutenant.
What is it, Doc?
This gentleman would like to speak with you.
It felt off.
I think what it is that maybe they wrote it differently this time. I don't know.
Yeah, but it was Bochco that wrote it. So
yeah. Teleplay by Bochco, Richard Levinson and William Link did the story. I don't remember Bochco's stuff being that, with this character being like that. But what I noticed was, because big thing here in this episode, I think it's this episode, right? The dog.
The dog, yeah. This is the one that introduces the dog.
Hi.
Is this your dog?
Yeah, I guess it is.
How would you like it if somebody locked you up like that? With the windows closed and everything?
Well, I didn't want him to get out.
Okay, then leave the window open and crack.
Okay, it's a good idea. You see, this happens to be my first dog, and I just haven't gotten onto the ropes yet. But I appreciate you telling me that. Miss, what's your name? You're not gonna tell me? Well, my name's Lieutenant Columbo.
Okay, then. My name's Audrey, if you want to know.
You live around here, Audrey?
Yes, but if you're going to question me, you're going to have to tell me my rights.
No, that's wrong. I only have to tell you your rights if you're a suspect. You're not a suspect. And besides, I'm just making conversation.
Yep, this is the one that's just dogs.
Like, you cut into Columbo at the vet's office, although the joke is you don't know it's the vet initially.
Yeah, I thought he was just at the doctor.
Yeah.
It's like, uh-oh. And then that scene, oh, man. So many times I've seen Columbo now, and I'm like, yeah, he was just like, I can't do needles either. Oh, my God, that needle. Oh. The way his... Yeah.
I was going to say, needles don't really bother me that much, so... I mean, it depends on where you're sticking them, I suppose. But
obviously, but
I mean, my eyeball, yeah, I'd have an issue with it. My arm, yeah, no, I'm fine.
I've always had. I can deal, but like I don't want to see it. I don't want to like see it up close and personal, kind of thing. Like I don't even look. I look away every time. I don't mind if it's like on the table, like 10 feet away from me, and I'm like, oh, there's a needle. Okay, fine, whatever. But I don't need to see it up close and personal. But the facial expressions that he was making in that scene before you see the needle, oh my God, it was like you had him on the water again or something, like he was going to get sicker just being there. And again, like you said, didn't know it was the vet and not an actual, like, the doctor's office for him. But yes, dog.
He did get dog, and the running theme of this episode was he was trying to come up with a name, which he never did. The vet suggested Fido. Which and then the sassy little girl, I said before we started recording, like I've seen this on A&E. I in my brain I remember other things which may or may not have happened. Like I remember the little neighbor girl being a much bigger part of the episode. I mean she's kind of important, but like I remember her being more in it. I remember the whole through line about getting a name for the dog being more prevalent, and there being a resolution to that, where he just gives up and calls him dog.
Yeah.
But like the weirdest part for me was like, where's all these scenes that I remember? Where's all this stuff?
Yeah.
The whole episode was one giant Mandela effect for me, basically.
You want to say anything else about dog?
I'm surprised how big he is. That surprised me.
Yeah. Me too.
Because mine was much smaller, but then she didn't really get that far. Yeah, I mean, he's also like, he doesn't like, I mean, dog never does anything per se in the episodes, but man, he does less than nothing in this episode. He does bark in the car. So
yeah. But we never know why. Like, other than the fact that
because they left him in the car.
Well, yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. Like, they left him in the car without the window even cracked. Like, I mean, come on, Columbo. But I thought it was like something else. I thought they were gonna have it tie into the whole case and
Columbo.
Dogs.
The great thing about Columbo is dog will never find the clue.
No,
that's what I love about Columbo. The dog is basically useless.
Aww.
He's adorable, but he's not going to be like the dog that, like, you know, digs up. I think it's a Murder, She Wrote episode where a dog digs up a body from a garden, or, you know, pulls down a drape and then there's a thing behind there, or sniffs out the thing. Like, he's basically there to be a companion, and does nothing of any productive value in terms of crime fighting, which I adore.
All right, folks, I'm going to say again, as I said at the top of the show, we are going to talk about certain things, and
I mean, it's you know, what's interesting.
Good.
Well, what's interesting is when I was watching the episode, Alex smokes a lot, and that's one of the things that, like, you know, is very noticeable in older. Like, it's funny because in Mad Men they make a huge deal about everybody. You know, it's played up a big deal that everybody smokes constantly. Whereas in actual fiction from that era, you know, it's much more casual. Like, but it's there. Like, even in Ghostbusters, Dan Aykroyd is smoking all the time, and it's a weird sort of thing about how at the time it was handled much more casually, which is my way of leading into the fact that we're going to talk about this thing, which we're tiptoeing around, even though the show treats it very casually.
I can't stand suicide. Murder is bad, but suicide is sadder.
Yeah, he right out just frankly says, I can't stand suicide. Murder is bad, but suicide is worse.
Yeah, and and it's actually kind of an important part of his, like, the whole thing is set up to make it look like that she did that,
right?
But she has so much going on in her life that Columbo, which I have like mixed feelings about, because like in a lot of ways, people that have a lot going on for them are almost like they can be just as vulnerable. Like it's not perception that you do it because everything is terrible and your world has collapsed is not always accurate. It's you've lost a fight inside your own head, and everything can be perfect, but you've lost that battle, and you don't see it that way. You don't see the good. You just feel the pain, and you just want that pain to end.
Yeah.
So I get where he's coming from in that, but it also is a very he gets taken to task for being patronizing with the sassy neighbor girl.
Yeah.
And it is sort of a, you don't know what's going on inside people's minds. You never really know how much they're hurting.
Yeah. And the thing for me is that I have been, I say it this way, suicide preventionist, but I attempted back in 94 when I was a kid, when I was 14, because I didn't want to be where I was. And ever since then, I have spoken up about how suicide is not the answer. There are plenty of people out there that are willing to listen if you have a problem, kind of thing, and all that. And of course comes this this recording of this episode comes just off the 10-year anniversary of when Robin Williams died. So there's that, because of his Parkinson's and everything else and all that. And boy,
I'm sorry. Like, maybe it may be a thing that's related to Parkinson's. I thought it had a different name.
Yeah.
Lewy
body dementia. Yeah. Yep.
Which may be related. I don't know. I'm not.
Yeah.
No, the name was different.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And at first I thought it was, I don't know. But, suffering through depression and anything that kind of just is, well, like we said, you never know what's going on in somebody's life. And again, I will always say there's the suicide hotline. You can talk to those people. I'm sure if anyone out there is having these thoughts or whatever, you can talk to your friends, your family, whoever you need to talk to. Just talk to somebody. If you need the help, get the help. But in this fictional story, that's not actually what happens. She doesn't commit suicide. She obviously is moited by the conductor. And the whole time I was watching this, I swear I recognized John Cassavetes from something, but I've looked through
he might have. I mean, the thing is, he's more known as a director than an actor, as I recall.
Yeah.
But again, he's slightly before my time. I just know that he was a well-respected director who worked a lot with Peter Falk.
Yeah, I don't recognize anything he directed. Obviously, I wasn't even born with some of the stuff that he directed, but a lot of people know about a lot of... I mean, look, I pulled out a Thin Man reference, obviously.
You did, and I'm shocked and amazing impressed. But, the thing is, to say stuff is before your time it's both accurate and also kind of a cheap excuse, because obviously we're both talking about a show from 1972, but then we have watched, and we actually are watching because we watched it before and enjoyed it. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's the fact that something happened before you is not necessarily a end all be all excuse for you to be ignorant about it. Now, that being said, I don't think people should be expected to be up on everything that happened. No. Everything that happened before. I barely know what's going on now. I see these YouTube videos from these people, and I'm like, who are these people? Like, where'd they come from? They're all filthy millennials, and it's like, go away. So I'm in this weird thing where everything that I like is in the past. But it's not in the super past, and then the future is murky and terrifying.
Yeah,
it's great to get old. So we did get an interesting piece of Columbo lore in this episode. which is like subtly, because when he meets Alexander, he's like, you're from back east, like kind of, hey, a fellow. There's this implication that they're fellow transplants,
right,
from the west, the East Coast. So there's a little bit about that, and also we get really. I'm trying to remember in the first season, we really get that first sense of Columbo's sort of because the theme about class has always been there.
Yeah,
it's a whole thing about the house.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
How big the house is, how expensive the house is, how long it would take him to afford the house.
Could I take a look in here? Just a quick look.
Go ahead.
Gotta be a 40-foot living room. 40 by 20. Dining room's 15 feet deep. I can't see the rest. Windows. Ideal. This is a dream house.
I'm glad you like it.
You're from New York?
Yeah, from New York.
Better out here, right?
Oh, it's more comfortable.
Can I ask you a personal question?
Please.
What are you paying taxes on this place?
$18,000 a year.
3 times 18, carry the 24, 7 down, bring down a 0. Place cost you $720,000.
$750,000.
Could I look in there?
Yeah, go ahead. Listen, how did you arrive at that figure, $750,000?
It's real estate rule of thumb. It's a trick, no magic. I'm not an appraiser or anything like that. Can I ask you something?
Go ahead.
How much you got in the furniture?
Oh, 200,000, 100,000, give or take 100,000, something like that.
I'll take it.
Can I ask you a personal question?
Yeah.
Did you have anything specific that you wanted to talk to me about?
No, I'm going to get to that, but I'm fascinated by money, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm fascinated by money, for what it can do, that's all.
Yeah. Anyway, what I was going to ask you is this. How much do you make?
I think that's very impertinent. How much do I make?
Tours?
I don't know.
Concerts?
I don't know.
Publishing?
I don't know.
Et cetera, et cetera. I make $11,000 a year. So at $11,000 a year, I got $750,000 for the house, $18,000 in taxes, $200 in furniture. How much help do you have?
I have 5, including the gardener.
You got that, and the money, plus. 11,000 times 10 years, 110,000. 11,000 times 100 years, 1.1 million. Well, let's say 900,000. That's 90 years' work for me just to live here, without eating.
So what's the point?
Well, I guess the point got delayed because I got so wrapped up in the house.
Because that is a running theme in Columbo, is him, he's this shaggy little dog that's going after the rich and wealthy and powerful.
Yep. Going through the house, and he asks how much it costs, and he figures it all out and does all the math, whatever else, and
immediately too, like super quick.
He's on the ball. $750,000 for that house. For that house in '71, I can only imagine what that house would be worth today.
Oh, crappy houses. Well, again, we kind of go back to the current situation, but crappy houses in LA or in California were going for millions of dollars.
Yeah, absolutely. And I just hate that happened because it displaced a lot of people and just all kinds of crazy things with those fires. We do find out, and I don't think we knew this in season 1. I mean, we might have known, obviously, he's made allusions to, cop salary, whatever else, but literally he says he makes $11,000 a year.
Which, I mean, he probably, these days, Los Angeles detectives probably still make that.
Yeah, unfortunately, they probably do. The whole car thing with the mechanic, and they're going back and forth. The mechanic tells him, "There's a limit." That poor car. This poor car.
This is your car?
This is my car.
Well, exactly what do you think's wrong with it?
To tell you the truth, I think the engine is missing, but I can't be sure because the shock absorbers, they're so old that the whole ride is very bumpy. Start it up for you.
On the hood.
don't have these kind of problems with a car like Mr. Benedict's.
Not quite, no.
What was wrong with his car? Nothing serious, I suppose.
No. He just felt it was idling a little too fast for him.
What do you think it is?
You ever thought about getting a new car?
No, you see, I already have 2 cars. Of course, my wife's car is nothing special. That's just for transportation, you understand.
Well, yeah, I think we talked about that before we started recording. There's a cute thing where Alex has this very fancy, expensive foreign car, and his mechanic is British or Scottish or
he's something.
Yeah, he's from those islands. He's got that kind of accent. And in fact, like to go off on a bit of a tangent, but did you notice how very sort of patronizing Alex is to everyone around him? Yeah, particularly those that are underneath, unquote, underneath him, end quote. Yes. He kind of makes fun of the mechanic. He makes fun of somebody else a little bit. He's very sort of got an attitude. But later, Columbo is sniffing around because the car, the whole thing about the car is part of the alibi because it's supposed to be in the garage, but Alex sneaks in and gets the car back. But Columbo's sneaking around and asking questions about the car, and he asks the mechanic to check out his car, the Peugeot. And it's like, well, I work on foreign cars. And he doesn't say the line. He is in a season, in an episode, he has not said the line, but he does say it's a foreign car. Yep. It was like, yeah, but there's a limit. There's a limit.
And the other thing that is amazing about this is, you're right, Alex is one of those hoity-toity, I'm better than everybody. He does it. He tries to do it subtly, but his temper.
No, it's almost worse because he does it like, hey, inferior guy. I'm Mr. Cool Guy. I'm your pal to a degree. Just don't touch me because you're beneath me. Hey, I'm making a joke about ya.
Yeah, he's very in your face.
It's almost like the word. Like, I would almost prefer someone to be cold and snotty about it than to be, hey there, buddy, who's not as good as I am.
Mm-hmm. So the interesting thing about this is, did you recognize his butler?
Yes. That was another little, well, at least, like, okay, this is a weird thing to say, kind of, but at least he was Asian as opposed to being black. Okay, because it was Pat Morita, everyone knows from The Karate Kid, or older people know from Happy Days, but he was very, very stereotypically Japanese. He had a very thick accent, and it was like, it's one of those things that kind of makes, like, even a guy who isn't particularly woke kind of goes, ew.
Yeah, I had to do a triple take, and then I saw it in the Wikipedia article, and I'm like, it was Mr. Miyagi. I knew that was Mr. Miyagi.
Everybody starts somewhere.
Well, no, I know, absolutely. But again, it for me, it's more about, like, oh wow, like, that's all. Like, it's awesome. I think it's cool that he was in that.
I was more like, wow, this is tacky. I mean, yeah, it was cool to see Pat Morita, but it was like,
the scene is very tacky. Yeah,
it was a little cringy.
Mm-hmm. Did you also know that? No. This is interesting to me. At the time of filming this episode, Blythe Danner was pregnant with her daughter, who is Gwyneth Paltrow, born 10 days after this episode aired.
Wow. I could believe that she was pregnant. I could not believe that she was 9 months pregnant. No wonder Gwyneth is a stick.
Oh my
gosh. She did not look pregnant at all.
No, she didn't look pregnant at all.
I mean, like, I wasn't looking for it, so, like, you wonder if they filmed her certain ways, but, like, I don't think they did. They showed her, like, walking around and waist up, and
wow. Absolutely.
That's crazy to the point of being faintly disturbing.
Yeah, a little bit. All right, what else we got?
So you're going to tell me that the annoying little girl, like, was, and that annoying little girl was, I don't know, I can't think of any stars from the 80s.
That little girl?
Demi Moore.
I don't know. She might have been. I don't know. But that little girl, she was spunky as hell with Columbo.
Yeah, she was. She was sussy.
Like, Oh, wow. I was not expecting.
Yeah, and again, that's kind of a weird, like, because she's a saucy, she idolized Jennifer, the victim, who herself was very sort of fiercely independent, fiercely kind of a strong woman who kind of knew what she wanted and went for it. And both episodes have had this. Both episodes that we saw recently have had this whole thing about like changing morality and different roles. And she was very empowered. And so the neighbor girl has that whole sort of saucy feminist, I'm not going to put up with your patriarchal garbage stuff from Columbo. And of course, Columbo's whole thing is as a general rule, he's not like that. He treats everyone equally, but he tolerates it, and he even indulges it. And there's a scene where he compliments her, and she's like, "Oh, don't give me your, male chauvinist compliment, trying to butter me up." Actually, he says something like early on, again, like there's a line where he's discussing at the very beginning, he's discussing the case, and he's looking at photos of Jennifer.
Yeah.
And he says she has bedroom eyes, and I'm like, ew.
Yeah, that was not
Columbo. No, bad Columbo. Give me the spray bottle. Bad Columbo. Naughty 70s man. Naughty. But of course, the episode ends with Alex conducting a soundtrack for a documentary about a naughtier man from the 40s.
Yeah.
Very naughty, saucy man.
Now, the little girl, was her name Audrey?
Could have been. I don't
remember. I'm trying to find her in the cast list to see not what else she's been in.
Well, I mean, at this point, she's not Myrna Loy. She's not.
Yeah.
And she's not Jennifer Wells. So I mean, the other female in the episode. And there was also a little subplot about like the other boyfriend who was a temporarily a red herring, who was a jazz musician who'd gotten in some trouble.
Mm-hmm. Well, the funny thing is that there is, at least you are absolutely correct, there might have been more scenes because the character of Sam, I guess, it says here on Wikipedia, on IMDb, scenes deleted. So I don't know why his scenes
they didn't show that on.
And of course, you click on the character name. The character was played by Michael Pataki. You click on the character name on IMDb. It looks like we don't have any photos or quotes yet. I'm like, oh, great. Okay, fine. Be that way. Technology. Let's see. Any other notes that I had for this one? Going to the smoking thing, like you were saying earlier, Columbo actually asks if it's okay.
He does.
Point. Yeah. And I'm like,
well, there's a sign up that says don't bring any food or beverages into the room.
Yep.
And also, is this the one? Again, we see two at a time, and sometimes things get a little blurred. Right. But like, there's one where he does. You don't see him have the drink, but he does ask for a drink. Do you remember that?
Yeah. He asks for it, but he doesn't actually.
Well, I mean, the scene cuts.
Drink. Yeah. I don't know if that was this one or if it's the Greenhouse Jungle. I don't think it's. I'm not sure.
I think he was talking to Myrna Loy because, like, I don't remember him having any kind of.
Yeah. She asks him if he would like a drink, and he says, I could have sworn he said no.
He says no initially, and then at the very end of the scene, like, he gets an idea.
Okay.
And then he asks for the drink, and it cuts.
Yeah. Interesting. Very cool. Yeah, this one was just. I liked it. I didn't not like it.
Oh God! I just looked up I'm looking on IMDb too. Pat Morita, the houseboy.
Yeah, it wasn't even. Yeah, that's not.
Wow.
I wonder if that's IMDb or if that's actually what it said in the script.
No, I'm sure that's what was in the script.
Probably. It was 1972, unfortunately. I don't have any other notes other than the fact to say that this one, I liked it, but just the way that they moved the formula around. They messed with the formula in various ways. It's not changed. It's still the Columbo formula, but it got to the finish line in very different ways than what we saw in season one.
Yeah.
And I guess that's good because they got to keep us on our toes, right?
Kind of, yeah.
But I could really do without the. I wish Tubi would take those off, whatever broadcast masters or whatever. However, it's on Tubi. I wish they would actually take off the intro teaser clip thing because it's just distracting.
I would bet they come from the same whatever source that the DVDs come from because they've been very matching up.
Okay.
Aside from the order, they've been very matching up.
Yeah.
No, and then I think that's part of the. I mean, there is no cut. There is no title credit sequence. There is no, you know what I mean? It is part of the episode, whether you like it or not.
Yeah. Yeah. It is what it is. Did the show keep your interest throughout?
Yeah. But for reason, I'm hesitating because I had other reasons. Because I was remembering things that I was waiting for things that I remembered. Mm-hmm. So, but they didn't happen. So I was trying to engage with the show differently than someone who is coming to it as a clean slate. But I mean, it was also the mystery part was, I think, a little weak. Because again, it was the boutonniere. You knew the minute you saw it, you knew it was the boutonniere.
Yep.
So yeah, I mean, it held my interest. I don't know. It's weird because I've been waiting for this episode all through season 1 because of that stupid dog. And now that we got here, I'm like, this wasn't really a great episode.
The dog doesn't do anything.
The dog doesn't. Well, okay, but the dog never does anything. But to be fair, he just lies there and drools, as is typical. Well, allegedly typical of his breed.
Yes.
As that is one thing. Is I will say, TV lies to you about the noble basset hound, and TV lies to you about the noble Irish setter. Yes. I had a very intelligent Irish setter, and I had a very active basset hound. So, yeah. It held my interest. I mean, I was following it, but I don't know. I don't know. This one felt off. It felt a little weird.
Yeah, and I think it's the way that because again, we're used to, that's the thing about this specific show, folks. As Dave already said, there is no intro theme. There is no closing theme. I mean, there's music.
Well, there is, but we don't see it.
It's not. Yeah.
But it's not for Columbo. It's for the NBC mystery movie.
Right. But that's what I'm saying. However Tubi has these on their website, we don't see the NBC mystery movie thing. What I mean is, and again, I'm going to reference multiple 80s action shows, A-Team, Airwolf, Knight Rider. There's no opening title sequence that says the name of the show. All the
show pops up in the
no. But I'm saying there's no specific.
I get what you're saying, but
when you start a show in the 80s, when you go from the perfect example,
when you start a show, almost every show it's dropping title sequences and theme songs is now it's probably been about 10 or 15 years, but for old people, it's a recent development. Let me put it that way. Most TV shows had a title sequence and a theme song.
Yeah. And that's the thing. Usually when you see the end credits of Jeopardy and you see all of them talking with the music and whatever else, and you see a couple of commercials, and immediately you would either get that preview of whatever show it is and then the opening title, or you would just get the opening title sequence and it would go. Now, I think somewhere around 2002, 2003, they started futzing with that format, and they would do this have 10 minutes of the show before, and we'll throw the intro thing somewhere in the middle, whatever.
Well, no, it was because commercials were cutting into so much time that they needed to cut down. They didn't have time to invest in a opening sequence, basically.
I guess.
I remember reading about that or hearing about that. Mm-hmm. It was deliberately a reaction to the fact that commercials were becoming more and more, taking up more and more time.
Mm. Are you itching to watch the next episode now? Well, considering we have, but I mean, just in general, at the end of this, were you itching to watch the next?
Yeah, I was eager to see the next one. I mean, I was the one that was like, come on, man, we're doing season 2. Y'all got any more of that Columbo?
Would you recommend this show to people? Absolutely.
This show, yes.
Yes, absolutely. And then the Geek Meter rating scale over on GCRN 0 to 5 with half points. What are you going to give Etude in Black?
Oh, God. I made such a big deal about getting to this episode. 3.5. I mean, it's competently done. It's fun to watch Columbo and Cassavetes together because, again, in real life they are friends, or they were friends. Yeah. I really feel like the mystery part is the weakest element, and it is a mystery show. Like, and there was just I'm knocking it a bit because there just was so much cringe in this episode.
Yeah. Absolutely.
That 3.5 I think is fair. I mean, there's no bad Columbos, but this one it hit weird.
There's probably going to be some that are more uncomfortable or less uncomfortable than others, if that makes any sense, because of, again, the time that this was made in the 70s and all that.
And keep in mind, like, I always make jokes about being old, but like when I watch these, like in syndicated reruns, it was the 90s. So that was 20, 30 years ago.
Yeah, 30 years ago.
Like, things have changed since then. So, like, stuff that I didn't necessarily pick up on or even be bothered by back then is going to hit me differently now. Like, we had this whole thing about trigger warnings, about the subject matter. And it was like, it wasn't like that back then. Like, you just didn't have trigger warnings. You didn't have that sensitivity to people being upset by stuff.
Well, we didn't have that sensitivity even in the 90s. We didn't have that sensitivity because
that's what I'm saying. I watched it in the 90s.
Yeah, exactly. But that's my point, is that, like, you know, our parents or our grandparents, like, I know my grandmother would have probably said something about the suicide stuff or whatever, or she would have said something about the affair thing, whatever kind of thing. But nowadays with the internet, oh my God.
Well, I mean, it's like, to give a little personal information, my mother was a social worker who coordinated the suicide prevention hotline here in Springfield. So it was a subject we didn't tiptoe around. You know what I mean?
Right.
We talked about it. There was no, like, euphemisms. So it's weird. This thing that was always very, I mean, maybe too casual. I mean, it's not that she didn't take it seriously. It's not that she didn't care about people. But, like, it was a thing we talked about because it was her job.
It was
so, like, to have to, like, dance around these words now, it's just, it irritates me because it's very Orwellian. Every time I watch a TikTok from a D&D playthrough and they have to use the word unalived or use other words for, like, it's like, guys, life is going to hit you like a freight train, and you can't be protected your whole life. You got to learn that there are some ugly things, and I'm not saying we should have your face rubbed in it, but it's just weird. It's weird and awkward. That's a weird one because, again, like I said, it was a thing that we talked about, you know.
Yeah.
It was, you know, I mean, she gave speeches at schools about it because back in the 80s, that was a big thing. There were waves of incidents where one kid would do something and then other kids would follow. I remember one time I got in horrible trouble at school, and my mom had to come in, and the principal was like, "Wait, you're his mother?" And she's like, "Yeah," because he knew her from the talks.
Yep.
So it was like, "Wait, you're this little troublemaking piece of crap's mother?" And she's like, "Yes."
And it's funny we're bringing up TikTok because even though this episode will air February 1st, Supreme Court upholds the law banning TikTok beginning Sunday, and Sunday's date is the 19th of January as of this recording. So, as of January 19th, if it is not sold by its Chinese parent company, it will get fully banned here in the U.S.
I'm sure it's sold to a completely legitimate business here in the U.S.
I mean, they might as well just give it to Meta.
Ugh.
Whatever. But the thing, like, I've never done TikTok. I've never had any interest in it whatsoever. If I want shorts or I want, like, short form content stuff, YouTube Shorts or Instagram Reels or whatever is what I usually go to.
I mean, I don't know stuff. Let me put it this way: stuff pops up on my Facebook feed. I have Facebook. I'm an old man, and I watch it. I don't know where it comes from. I don't know where it comes from. It's just there, and they do funny little cartoons from the D&Ds that I like, and it's funny, and I laugh.
Yes,
and then I brush my keys.
I am also going to give this a 3.5, which is good. Description of 3.5 on our Geek Meter says, it's a mixed bag, but the good stuff outweighs the bad. There might be one amazing element or lots of fun moments that make the flaws easier to swallow. They're not deal breakers, but they do hold it back. So that's for that. And yeah, folks, I think that's going to do it for us. We're going to head to a quick ad break. You're going to hear some podcast ads and some other stuff. We'll come back to close the show right after this.
Do you read this?
I browsed through it.
This is what they gave me. This is the dossier that they gave me. Female Caucasian piano player born Kenosha, Wisconsin. This is what they gave me. Now look what I find in the scrapbook. Miss Wells, London. Miss Wells, Paris. Miss Wells, Miss Wells, Miss Wells. Genius, superb, talented, magnificent, feeling, taste, fabulous. Look what the department gives me. Female Caucasian piano player born Kenosha, Wisconsin. Look what I find in the scrapbook. Look at these pictures. Girl has a wonderful shape, don't you think? Look at those eyes. Bedroom eyes. Look what the department gives me. Female Caucasian piano player born Kenosha, Wisconsin. No bleach there, regular hair. No fear there. No heavy makeup. Got a girl with a body, money, and a career. Got some column items to show the crowd she went with. Best people. Dukes, earls, politicians, big people. So add that. What's missing?
Something.
A man. It's a man. A person, somebody. Woman like that's got to have somebody. Eyes like that. But that's me. I'm paranoid. Every time I see a dead body, I think it's been murdered. Can't imagine anyone murdering themselves.
Hello, geeks and geekettes! Looking for a podcast that covers a vast array of topics? Then check out Altered Geek Unleashed, where we discuss our thoughts on this week's geeky news, tech, gaming, television shows, movies, cartoons, comics, and more. So, get altered, get geeky with the Altered Geeks. Every Friday on the Geekcast Radio Network.
Are you missing entertainment in your life? Welcome to Captain Ruggles Gaming. Whether it's guides, roleplay content, or our shenanigans with our collaborations with the 20 years standing strong Fart Clan, also known as Fast Action Response Team, or the Wrecking Crew, we have something for everyone. So join us when we traverse the cosmos of space games, survive the undead in zombie games, or just having fun in first-person shooters or random indie games. Visit us now at geekcastradio.com and youtube.com/@Captain Ruggles, or Google search Captain Ruggles Gaming. It's game time, and I'll see you out on the battlefield.
Because the world needs another movie podcast.
The Geekcast Radio Network presents for your listening pleasure the Cinema Geek.
Hosted by Amanda, Kevin, Matt, and Dan.
Each week we dive headfirst in the landscape of movies as we discuss movie news, play movie games,
go in-depth on reviews,
and even have a top 10 countdown or two.
Also, don't miss our director retrospective series, where we review noted directors' movies film by film. Bottom line is, if you love movies and love podcasts, you need to experience the Cinema Geeks.
You can find us on iTunes, Blog Talk Radio, or geekcastradio.com.
Do you know John Hyatt songs?
Maybe you know them from being covered by Roseanne Cash, Three Dog Night, the Neville Brothers, Emmylou Harris, Eric Clapton, B.B. King, Jeff Healey, Bonnie Raitt, or literally hundreds of others.
Maybe you have some of his albums on your shelf, or in your cow-horned Cadillac right now.
I'm Jesse Jackson.
And I'm Sylvan Groff.
And and we're going to dive in from A to Z. Join us on the Perfectly Good Podcast.
We're going to discuss all of your favorites and uncover some forgotten gems, from Aces Up Your Sleeve to Zero House.
Rate and debate every John Hyatt song on the Perfectly Good Podcast. Have a little faith.
On the Simplistic Reviews Podcast, we talk movies. We talk TV. We talk...
Hello, Julie, what the heck are you doing?
Trying to make our spots sound more exciting by adding explosions.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you could have got the point across with sound effects, not the real thing.
Car. Download the show on iTunes or at simplisticreviews.blogspot.com.
I'm sure your insurance company will cover that.
No, they won't.
No, they probably won't.
I went to the door. Nobody answered. And that's all there is to tell. It's the truth. The lieutenant believes me. Tell her.
Well, that's right, ma'am. I don't believe he did it.
You think it was the other man?
Well, the other man's always a possibility.
I keep wondering why you tried to hide this. Why you didn't come forward before.
Because I figured I'd lose my job. That I wouldn't have a chance to explain anything.
Mr. Rivkin, I am concerned with my orchestra. I have spent 25 years making it what it is today, and gouging people for money to build the Symphony Association. Aside from my daughter, this is my baby. And if anybody tries to hurt either one of them, he's out. The axe. Anybody. But under the circumstances, let's say you're not fired. However, until this case is cleared up, you'll have to be suspended. With salary.
Thank you. Thank you, Mrs. Fielding.
Now be a good boy and vanish quietly.
We are back, and we aren't going to hold you guys too long here. Any quick one-note final thought from you before I run through the closing, sir?
It is the second season. This is usually when shows start to dial themselves in. This one just felt a little weird. The next one we're going to talk about, which obviously you'll hear in the next episode, I think was a little more return to form.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. 100%. I did literally, I stopped and I literally hit the 10-second rewind button just to make sure he said it the way he was supposed to say it. And he does say...
because you do your little count of things.
That's right. I don't even know what the counter's at now.
I don't think he mentioned he did, because his wife, his wife was a big fan.
Yeah, his wife was a big fan.
That's a running theme, is his wife loves murderers. If they write a book, if they do a TV show, if they direct concerts or conduct concerts, man, she loves them.
Yep. Thank you for joining us here inside Studio 2009. If you'd like to get in contact with us or leave feedback for the show, there are several ways to do so. Visit the website, geekcastradio.com, where you can listen to and comment on all of our content. You can also check out shop.geekcastradio.com, buy all the merch we have over there. Send any email to feedback@geekcastradio.com. We are on all the podcasting clients you choose to use. You can follow us on Twitter at GeekCastRadio for the network, at It's Studio 2009 for the show. I'm at TFG1Mike. Dave doesn't do social media.
I do the Facebooks, but I keep that pretty to people I know.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of Facebook, Geekcast
This is not your purse. I don't know you.
Geekcast Radio Network and Studio 2009 podcast over there on Facebook. Next time, we've got The Greenhouse Jungle, Season 2, Episode 2 of Columbo. For now, I am TFG1Mike with
David Draper.
Hilarious back in the studio soon.
Shit, piss, fuck, cunt, cocksucker, motherfucker, and tits.
You do realize I will use that Mr. Tourette syndrome.
Good. No, those are the famous George Carlin routine.
Ah, yes.
7 words you're not allowed to say on TV. Back when you're not, because it's like, we can't say suicide, we can't say Nazi, we can't say fucking death. I don't think we can say gun. Like, okay, penis, sure, I guess. But it's just this fucking Orwellian bullshit. It drives me crazy.
Yeah, it drives you crazy.
It does.
Mm-hmm.
It should drive all of us crazy.
But there's no reason to assume that we're planning a hanging.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is TFG1Mike from the Geekcast Radio Network. What you just heard was Studio 2009's The Columbo Files, Season 2, Episode 1, Etude in Black, with myself and David Draper. I know technically I should put this at the front of the podcast, but I've already spent the last 2 hours editing this episode, so I'm going to put this at the very end. Please listen to the whole podcast. I'm going to put this in the description as well. I'm going to put a note in the description of the podcast. Oh boy, this is going to be difficult. So in this episode, there were discussions of suicide. I don't know if I'm going to read this whole thing, but I'm going to read you my daily blog entry from 2019. This was day 58 of 2019, where I discussed my attempt at suicide in 1994. The title of the blog, Suicide is Not the Answer. The past is the past. There's no changing the events that happened. This is just my story, the way I remember it happening. This is a very difficult topic for me to talk about. I'll be talking about a very triggering topic to me, suicide. If you are having suicidal thoughts, get help. Or you can call, I believe it's 988 on mobile phones, or you can call 1-800-273-8255. In 1994, when I was living in Kentucky with my dad and then stepmother, I attempted suicide. I don't think they ever knew about it. I'm pretty sure I never told them. At the time, we had 10 acres of land, and I went out into the field where there was only one tree that I could see. I attempted to hang myself. It was a very stupid idea, but I saw no way out of the situation I was in. My stepmother at the time would hit me. Luckily, events unfolded where I was placed as a ward of the state of Kentucky and taken out of the home. I know for a very short time it sucks because I wanted to make it work with my dad and everything. But it just wasn't going to happen. Ever since that day in 1994, talk of suicide or seeing suicidal news reports on TV really triggers me. When Robin Williams hung himself, besides the fact that he was a man that entertained me all my life, I thought about the man himself. Where was he in his life that he felt that that was the only answer? At that time in 1994, I knew where I was, and it was somewhere I didn't want to be. If you have been someone who has followed me in my, at this point now, as I'm recording this, nearly 17-year podcasting career, you've heard me say that I'm not good with change. Well, from Christmas of 92 through April of 1995, my life went through a ton of changes. My mom had a nervous breakdown on New Year's Day, 1993. She started the process of turning custody of me over to my dad because she just couldn't take care of me anymore. So from February 10th, 1993, which was the day after my 13th birthday, to sometime in January of 1995, I had lived with my dad and then stepmother. I wanted to be with my mom. I wanted life to go back to the way that it was in 1992 and before. You want to talk about a culture shock, going from the big cities and small towns with trees of Massachusetts, towns like Kingston and Plymouth and Plimpton and Halifax and all of that, to the barren fields of Kentucky. I was so not happy. After the abuse from my stepmother was reported, I was removed from their home, and I began my 4.5-year journey through the state's custody. I consider myself, and I know this to be true, that I was one of the lucky ones. Most kids that end up in the system get tossed around like pizza dough. I was only in 15 placements in 4 years. Normally some kids would have been in that many places in just 1 year. My mom, in the final 1.5 years of her life, would tell me that she just wanted to kill herself from late 2013 through May of 2015, when she did pass away. Mom would talk of suicide all the time because of what I had went through. It made me so angry, and I would yell at her for it. I'm not proud of it, but that's what happened. I would only yell at her after her talking about it 5 or more times a day. The first time she'd say something about killing herself because of all the pain she was in. I understood she was in that pain, but I would try to be reassuring to her. I would try to get her to be positive. I have always tried my best to be as positive as I could be out there in the world. And yes, again, folks, if you've listened to me in the last 16 and a half, 17 years, you know I can be a very negative person, but I do try my best to be positive. Suicide is no joke. And it's no laughing matter. The person that wants to die by suicide must have some really bad shit going on in their life. My mom died from bacterial and viral pneumonia, as well as kidney failure in May of 2015. Holy fuck, y'all. I am 2 months away from the 10th anniversary of my mom's death. So she didn't end up killing herself, thank God. Still, she was way too young at 60 years old, but at least she's now at peace and not in pain anymore. My point at the time in 2019 of revealing all of this and writing this post is that I fully believe suicide is not the answer to life's problems. For me, the medical way never really seemed to work. I remember at one point before all of this stuff happened, my mom and the doctors back then wanted to put me on Prozac. I've always felt that the antidepressants have never worked on me. All I need is someone to sit there and listen. As far back as I can remember, I've suffered from out-of-control behavior at times, whether that's yelling and screaming, or attempting suicide, or doing anything else to self-harm. It's a pattern that I wish I could change and get over, to self-heal, but there are times when I need help. My second point in making this post at the time in 2019 is to maybe help other people realize that there are people out there that you can talk to and they can help you get through the tough times. Whether that's a parent or another family member, a friend, your spouse, a teacher, a policeman, just speak up. Have you ever had suicidal thoughts? Have you ever attempted suicide? Do you know someone who has Oh boy, that question doesn't read right to me, but that's the terminology that they have us use now. Do you know someone who has completed suicide? That doesn't sound right to me, but that's the way they have us ask it. Let me know in the comments below. Committed suicide is the incorrect terminology. Suicide is not a crime. And I leave a link for you where you can read more here. I will leave this, I will leave my blog post link in the podcast episode show notes on geekcastradio.com for this episode of Studio 2009. Once again, if you are having suicidal thoughts, get help. You can dial 988 on mobile phones, or you can dial 1-800-273-8255. Folks, please get the help you need if you need to talk to somebody. Anyone out there that's listening to the sound of my voice, if you want to talk to me, I'm here to listen too. I mean, not that I want to steal Frasier's line, but I'm always listening. Just because I'm a almost 17-year podcast veteran, and I podcast all the time, and I talk all the time, doesn't mean I don't always listen all the time as well, because I am always listening to almost everything. Have a good day, everybody. Be kind to yourself. Be kind to others. Put some good out there in the world. And we will talk to you next time for Season 3, Episode 2 of Columbo.
Thank you very much. I appreciate you taking the time.